we first take Senate Bill 12, and if we can have, you want to be in the chair? I need somebody in the chair.
We'll let the children do it. Let's let the children. They need
Talbot,
to
yeah.
practice. The youngsters.
Young people.
Young people.
Let the children take
Let
the
the
chair.
children take the children. They gotta learn something.
You should be good.
All right, Mr. Acting Chair, members of the committee, Senate Bill 12 is a what I would call a life-saving bill. I do have some amendments, but basically the bill provides that every school from K through college have an AED on the premises of the campus, and it also provides that the Department of Health and Hospitals shall promulgate rules. But I do have an amendment, and I would like to discuss the bill with the amendment, so I would like to offer up the amendments at this time. The amendments basically would do a couple things. It will also provide for a that every school have a plan in place, and that's an important piece of the bill because as I've done studies across the country, most AED bills there is a plan. Just like a fire drill, there's a fire plan at all the schools. This will provide that every school implement a cardiac emergency response plan. And the institution shall prepare, if it's a college, the president shall prepare it, or the chancellor, and it should also focus on preventing the loss of life, shall integrate a minimal of the following standards or guidelines. It should establish a cardiac emergency response team, activating a team in response to a sudden cardiac arrest, and implementing AED placements and routine maintenance within the institution, and maintaining ongoing staff training for CPR and AED use, practicing drills, integrating local EMS with the plan, and an annual review of the evacuation, evaluating the plan and evaluating the plan. The amendments also would, instead of having a hard trigger, because there is a cost associated, it has a soft trigger of 1 year. So each school will have a 1 year period in order to implement the plan. The last provision, it would be called the Jumpstart Your Heart Act. Actually, this bill came to my attention because of a group of people, cardiologists across the state that actually do life-saving measures and training with students. That's what the amendments do. I would move the adoption of the amendments.
All right, does anyone have any questions on the amendment? The board is clear. All right, we have a motion by Senator Fields to adopt the amendment. Seeing no objection, the amendments are adopted.
That's the bill in a nutshell, and I'm sure that there are other folk here who wish to testify. There is someone from EMS in my local parish who wish to come and actually do a quick demonstration of how AEDs work and how they are life-saving measures.
Hello, y'all. My name is Nick Tarabenek. I'm with East Baton Rouge Parish EMS. Thank you for the opportunity to be up here today. So I'm going to do a little demonstration on how easy it is to use an AED. I just want to give a little context at first. So according to American Heart, for every minute that passes, there is a 7 to 10% decrease in survivability. So it is of the utmost importance that we have an AED and a CPR
Can you,
ready to
can
go
you
for
hold
those
one
folks.
second? Let's
Sure.
see if we can get some volume on these, because, okay, all right.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'll go on with the demonstration of the AED. I just want to say, though, that in conjunction with the AED, it's of the utmost importance that high-quality CPR is performed. There's only two things that are, without a doubt, to impact survivability, and that is high-performance CPR and availability of an AED. So when we use an AED, we just open up the container, and it will start giving you directions.
Adult mode.
Can you hear that?
Remove
Yes.
all clothing from patient's chest.
Para cambiar a español, pulse el botón de idioma ubicado a la izquierda.
Pull red handle to reveal pads. Look at pictures on pads. Apply pads to bare skin exactly as shown in the pictures.
So we'll be applying it
Press
according to the
pads
pictures firmly to the patient's chest.
Do not touch patient. Analyzing heart rhythm. Everyone clear. Do not touch patient. Delivering shock. Shock delivered. Provide chest compressions to the beat. The heel of one hand should be in center of chest. The other hand should be on top of first hand. Push down hard, at least 2 inches. Provide 2 breaths. 1, 2. Resume chest compressions. Push down.
Okay, so that repeats itself over a course of 2 minutes, and every 2 minutes, you're going to be asked to check a pulse and see if you have a pulse arrival until EMS arrives or fire department arrives to take over care of the patient.
All right. Well, thank you very much, sir, for coming. I appreciate you coming to do the demonstration today.
Thank you.
The board is clear. Is there anyone, we have Cindy Bishop from the Louisiana Orthopedic Association present, would like to speak. There's several folk who are present, do not wish to speak. We'd start with you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Cindy Bishop. I'm here on behalf of the Louisiana Orthopedic Association and the Louisiana Athletic Trainers Association. Let me start out by saying, basically, AED saves lives. I'm glad to see you bring this bill today. I'm glad to see State Representative Vincent Pierre, who did the bill that you're amending today. And one of my favorite stories is about a student in Testavia Hills. This is Alabama. We have a lot of Louisiana examples as well. A child was moving a portable goalpost across a field. He hit a live wire. He fell to the ground. They went and got the AED and the athletic trainer, and they saved his life. He was back to school in 3 days. So in Louisiana, New Iberia Catholic High School, just a few years ago, 17-year-old high school soccer player, undetected heart condition, collapsed on the field. They went and got the AED, and they were able to save his life. So I just want to make a pitch for your bill today, and thank you so much for bringing this. It's an important piece of legislation.
Thank you very much, Cindy. The board is clear. There are no questions. Thank you for your testimony. We have several people in support but do not wish to speak. Melinda Raffi in support, do not wish to speak. Evan Alvarez with the American Heart Association in support, do not wish to speak. Bridget Nealon with Stand for Children in support, do not wish to speak. Eleanor Parmentier with Tulane University in support, do not wish to speak. Curry Landry with the Louisiana Ambulance Alliance. Kelley Bachner with Our Lady of Lake in support, do not wish to speak. Cindy Posey with LFT in support, do not wish to speak. Marcus Thomas, LAE in support, do not wish to speak. Susan East Nelson in support do not wish to speak, and Ethan Malonson with Bessie. We do have a few white cards. Danny Garrett with LSBA would like to speak, and everyone else would not like to speak. Danny, please
Mr.
proceed.
Chairman, members of the committee, Danny Garrett with the Louisiana School Board Association. After this bill, the first version of this passed a number of years ago, a number of high schools, particularly with athletics, have been purchasing these. We absolutely see the benefit of them. And we are in a very, it's interesting that this bill is filed this year because we are in a very unique circumstance this year, you as a legislature. You have the opportunity with less than 0.5% of the projected surplus for this fiscal year, not next year, this fiscal year, to purchase an AED for every school in the state of Louisiana. If you look at the fiscal note, you can actually buy the full-on $2,500 one, and because of the districts that already have it, it's actually going to be less than the maximum set forth in the fiscal note. The maximum fiscal note is $2.5 million, which is less than 0.5% of that $700 million plus surplus that you're looking at. And Senator White, I know that that's going to be something y'all will consider, and we would urge the members of this committee after this bill passes to also urge your colleagues to find that less than 0.5% of that surplus for this fiscal year, so that it doesn't take a full year or two to get this out to everybody. We can get them out within a matter of months. Thank you. That's all I have.
Yes, sir. Good morning. What'd you say the dollar amount was?
The
We have it
fiscal
in our
note says that 2,500, and it's about 2.5 million
Yeah,
to
that's
push
what
them
it
out to
says.
all of the schools. And if you consider that y'all have, and I used 700, but if you use 725, which is one of the numbers, you're talking at less than one. It's actually about 0.35% of that surplus, and you could buy all of them immediately.
I understand. So I'm looking at the fiscal note. It says 2.5 million if it's 1,376 and 1.8 million if it's 1,002 public schools, and there's no fiscal note, I believe, on higher education. I just wanted to make sure we understood the fiscal note, and we'll have to see how that works, but I think it's a good idea. But the percentages, everybody comes
I know.
to us and
I
says
know.
it's, because all those percentages end up adding up to 100.
And look, you know us, the unfunded fiscal note, the unfunded Band-Aid on this bill not going to put any school districts out of business. One of the things we deal with is you start incrementally adding 10, 12, 15 of these, and it becomes relevant. But we're in a unique situation. Also, I would say that this is the maximum. There's another number of schools that already have
have
these in
them.
place, so it's going to be less than that. And y'all are, I mean, for those of you that have been in the legislature for a while, you know that there's not a lot of times where you're looking at a current year fiscal surplus of this amount of money. And if this is not a good use of one-time money, I can't think of one.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Senator White.
I don't think anybody's against
I know.
this. Just
I know.
how many, do we have to buy them all in 1 year?
Well, and that's the senator agreed to delay them. It seemed like that we have the opportunity with that one-time money. And again, it's going to be less than 2.5 million because we have. fewer than-
Understand.
Yeah.
People line up from my door, down the hall, out into the rotunda every day, okay? Because they just want a little piece of that surplus.
I know.
So, it's great, but sometimes it's a challenge.
And Senator, we understand that as school districts.
I'm not
there's lo-
against this bill,
Yeah.
so don't think I
I
am,
understand.
especially for elementary kids.
Yeah.
If that's who our target is,
Right.
to be the biggest consumer of the new defibrillators.
Yeah. And one of the things that was pointed out to us is these will not only benefit the children in those schools, but there's a bunch of adults in those schools too. And so the benefit is clear. It's how do we get them in place as quickly as possible. And we just wanted to raise that y'all have a unique opportunity, and understand everybody's lining up and everybody has to get in priority order. And maybe we put that guy first. But like I said, we just want to remind we're already putting them in place under the prior legislation. And this is an opportunity that not every legislature has, to make a one-time expenditure that's the return on investment seems immense. So, thank you.
Is there a bill, is there a companion bill in the House?
I don't believe so.
No, no.
All right.
All right, have you concluded, Senator?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. We also, there are no other questions on the board. Shalene, I think it's Shalene Humphrey, with the Louisiana, with the LSNA Medical Center of Alexandria in support, do not wish to speak, and Mr. Eugene Daniels in support, do not wish to speak. We also have Susan Bailey for information only, Devin George for information only, and Dr. Jim Henderson for information here to provide information if needed. Members, you've heard the testimony on Senate Bill 12. What's your pleasure? All right, Senator Talbot moves that Senate Bill 12 be reported as amended. Any objections? Here are no objections. That bill is reported as amended.